Anyway, speaking of rebels going to jail, we have a very interesting piece here. Conservative MP Colin Carrie slamming the Liberals. I almost said fibrils. That was a Freudian slip. For supporting censorship and pro-Hamas protesters chanting for genocide. And of course, the reference point is our beloved big boss man, Ezra Levant, 2 weeks ago, getting arrested. Well, for that egregious crime of practicing journalism in a public place. But in any event, let's see what Colin Carrie has to say.
Madam Speaker, under the guise of combating disinformation and hate speech, this government has implemented policies that give it the power to silence voices, censor information, and withhold documents that do not conform to its own woke ideological agenda. And this censorship is spreading across Canada through our institutions, not just here in the House of Commons. We saw this last week when an independent journalist, Ezra Levant, was arrested for simply filming and reporting on a pro-Hamas rally occurring in his own neighborhood. Instead of arresting provocative pro-Hamas supporters who spewed hate, celebrating genocide while chanting from the river to the sea, an independent member of the press was arrested for simply doing his job, arrested by the very police who have sworn to protect his charter rights. Madam Speaker, and we wonder why Canadians are questioning whether or not this is the country they grew up in. When a Jewish man gets arrested by Toronto police in his own neighborhood while supporting a vigil for families whose loved ones were massacred and kidnapped on October the 7th, while members of the hateful mob are allowed to continue their mockery of the victim's suffering, we have to ask ourselves why the government condones this hateful behavior and censors first-hand accounts of cruel anti-Semitism and supports police who discriminate. When governments and our institutions condone this behavior, it is as if it gives a stamp of approval, and that definitely is not okay.
Oh, well said, Mr. Carrie. Your thoughts, Drea?
Yeah, it's nice to see that. I mean, how many things have happened to us as we bring the other side of the story? You, of course, many times, and it gets completely ignored. So as sad as the occasion is, I am happy to see that. The two-tiered society is what we keep seeing over and over being replayed, and that's what he's pointing out, this two-tiered policing system. That's why we did those sort of journalistic missions. The first where we came out after your arrest on that intersection where we came to stand with David. And then little did we know we'd be there 2 weeks later to stand with Ezra and take back our seats. It's important to push back. I'm so happy that people actually came. A lot of people drove from, if you haven't seen the reports yet, you should, but a lot of people drove a couple of hours to come and stand there and take back the streets for all Canadians, that you should be allowed to go there, practice journalism, or just be a citizen and stand on these sidewalks. And if you're going to let people support and applaud and praise genocide and then arrest a journalist for capturing that, we're in some serious trouble.
Absolutely. And you know what I found significant about Mr. Carrie making that pronouncement? I'm assuming that was in the House of Commons, correct?
Looked like it, yeah.
Did you notice no heckles, no catcalls when he mentioned Ezra Levant by name, when he mentioned Rebel News by name? That indicates to me, Drea, that the opposition knows better, that they realize there is not a lot of public tolerance out there for A, turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to the pro-Hamas hate mongers, and B, basically arresting a Jewish man in his own heavily Jewish community, outside his actual bank branch, by the way, that RBC unit there, for practicing journalism. So even, the opposition said, we don't like Rebel and we're doing everything we can to, but we better just, keep it quiet on this point. So I think that tells us something, Drea, that the pendulum, it's swinging.
Yeah, the quiet part is being said out loud now. We've been waiting so long. Oh my goodness. And Canadians start saying what they actually believe and feel.